In the summer of 1983, in the quiet suburb of Brookvale, Virginia, a young woman vanished without a trace. Her name was Elise Camden, 24, ambitious and deeply private. The case would go cold for 37 years. A single audio tape, left forgotten in a box of evidence, would eventually unravel the truth. This is the story of obsession, betrayal, and a silence so profound it echoed for decades. Chapter 1: The Vanishing. Elise Camden was last seen leaving her job at the Brookvale Public Library just after 9 p.m. On July 16, 1983, she waved to her coworker, stepped into her faded green Honda Civic, and disappeared into the warm Virginia night. When she failed to show up for work the next day, her parents reported her missing. Her car was found 3 days later, parked on a rural road just outside the town. The keys were still in the ignition. Doors were locked. There were no fingerprints other than Elise's. No signs of struggle. No body. Just silence. The town, shaken but unsure what to believe, whispered rumors of runaways, stalkers, and even ghosts. Chapter 2: The investigation begins. Detective Miles Kerrigan, a 36-year-old war veteran with a grim sense of humor, took the lead. He interviewed everyone Elise knew. Coworkers, neighbors, ex-boyfriends, everyone said the same thing. Elise was quiet, kind, kept to herself. Kerrigan found her journal beneath her bed. It was filled with cryptic entries. He watches from the stacks. One line read. Another, the hum of the copier drowns his breath. He scoured library logs, looking for anyone who might have lingered too long. He questioned a local teenager with a petty theft record, and even followed a false lead about a traveling preacher. But the journal offered no names, and the trail quickly turned cold. Chapter 3: The Library Stalker. In October of the same year, 2 other women who worked at the Brookvale Library reported feeling watched. One of them, a part-time clerk named Lucy Romero, claimed to have seen a man standing by the microfilm machine after hours. She described him as tall, in his 40s, with pale skin, sunken cheeks, and thick glasses. He never spoke. She remembered the smell toner, mildew, something chemical. The description matched no one on staff. Security footage, grainy and largely useless, revealed nothing. A month later, Lucy abruptly quit and moved out of state. Her letter of resignation simply read, "I can't breathe in that place anymore." 2 months after Elise vanished, Rachel Dunn, a college student and library volunteer, went missing after a late shift. Her purse was found in a dumpster behind the library, her car discovered at a rundown motel 50 miles away. A few checks revealed no sign-ins, no credit card activity, no witnesses. Rachel had written in her diary about the man with the quiet shoes and mentioned strange phone calls. Local authorities dismissed it as a possible runaway, despite her parents' objections. 10 years later, hikers found her remains buried behind an abandoned farmhouse. Her voice box was fractured, strangled, likely silenced. Chapter 5: Kerrigan's Obsession. Detective Kerrigan grew obsessed. By 1990, his office walls were covered in photos, maps, strings, and hand-scribbled notes. He chased dozens of leads across the state, following up on every missing woman remotely fitting the profile. He attended seminars, conferred with profilers, and created a private list he called the Silenced, but he couldn't tie them all back. Without physical evidence or a suspect, the case fell apart. His marriage crumbled under the weight of it. He retired in 1994. His final note in the file scrawled in pencil. He waits in the silence. Chapter 6. The Box in the Basement. In 2020, during a digitization project at the Brookvale Police Department, Detective Lila Monroe found an unmarked box labeled Archive, Camden. The cardboard was damp. Mold speckled the edges. Inside were files, Polaroids, and one unlogged cassette tape. The label was faded, almost illegible. Curious, Monroe found a cassette player in the evidence room, plugged in headphones, and pressed play. Static crackled. Then breathing. Shallow, scared. A woman's voice, please. I won't tell anyone, please, don't. Chapter 7. The Tape. The audio was sent to the FBI's Digital Forensics Lab. After enhancements, they confirmed the voice was Elise Camden's. The hiss of the library's old ventilation system matched archived architectural blueprints. The tape also contained another voice, low, deliberate. Don't scream, they'll hear. In the background, a clicking noise repeated every 12 seconds. Analysts identified it as the mechanical cycle of a vintage Kodak Super 8 film camera. Chapter 8. The Man with Glasses. Monroe reopened the investigation. She tracked down Lucy Romero, now living in Arizona under a different last name. Lucy still remembered the man with glasses. She called him the Watcher. She recalled seeing him reading the same newspaper every day, never turning the page. Monroe requested old maintenance records. One name surfaced repeatedly during 1983. Franklin Odell, a contract repairman responsible for servicing microfilm readers and projectors. Chapter 9. The Phantom Technician. Franklin Odell was a ghost in the system. No convictions. No spouse. No family. The last known address was a rural cabin in Pocahontas County, West Virginia. Monroe made the trip. The cabin was cold, cluttered, but seemingly abandoned. Among the decaying furniture and stacked newspapers, she found a locked steel cabinet. Inside, rows of VHS and Super 8 film reels, each labeled with a woman's initials and year. Some had degraded. Others played distorted visuals, women in library settings, visibly frightened. One, marked EC83, showed Elise Camden bound to a chair lit only by a swinging bulb. Chapter 10. The Breakthrough. The FBI processed the cabin. DNA from strands of hair matched Elise Camden. A partial fingerprint on a film reel container matched one from her missing persons file. Monroe obtained a warrant and tracked Odell to a trailer park near Dayton, Ohio, living under the name Ronald Ackers. When federal agents approached, he didn't run. He simply asked, "Is it about the library?" Chapter 11. The Confession. Odell's confession spanned 5 recorded interviews. He admitted to murdering Elise, Rachel, and 2 others never publicly linked to the case. He claimed he suffered from misophonia and extreme sensitivity to sound, particularly female voices. He said the silence of a library is sacred. They violated it. Elise, he claimed, was going to report him after catching him filming her, so he filmed her last hours instead. A grotesque tribute to silence. Chapter 12. Aftermath. Odell was charged with 4 counts of murder and dozens of other crimes involving surveillance and unlawful confinement. The Camden family finally held a funeral for Elise. Kerrigan, now 83 and in a wheelchair, attended. He laid a white lily on her grave and whispered, "I never stopped looking." Monroe received a national commendation. The Brookvale Library was torn down the following year. In its place, a garden with benches, flowering dogwoods, and a bronze plaque that reads, "In memory of the silenced. Let their voices echo." Epilogue. Some say justice came too late. But the truth, buried beneath decades of dust and silence, finally had its moment. All because of a forgotten cassette buried in a box no one thought to open. A whisper from the past. A voice that demanded to be heard. And so ends the tale of Elise Camden, the silent tape.